Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to be looking at a type of non-verbal reasoning called picture analogies. Okay, so I'll briefly explain it. It might not make too much sense at first, but don't worry, because as we go through each question, it will make more and more sense. Okay, all that we need to do today is decide how one image is changing into another image. Okay, and once we've decided how one changes into the other, we must then make another image change in exactly the same way, right? Sounds a bit confusing, but it won't be for too long, I promise, okay? So, as usual, I'll go through the first one all by myself. Now, I know it's very tempting to have a go by yourself, but I would really recommend that you don't for the first one. Let me do it all by myself, and then we'll have plenty to answer independently, okay? So, let's take a look at this. Now, let me show you what's going on. Let me show you what it is we're expected to do. We have been given one image, which is right here. And that arrow means it's transforming into this image. Okay? Once we've decided how image 1, which is that one, turns into image 2, which is that one, once we work out what's going on between the two of them, we must then apply the same logic, the same reasoning to this image, right? Now, it's all about, like every type of non-verbal reasoning we talk about, it's all about trying to look at things one bit at a time, rather than considering the whole picture altogether. So, for example, rather than looking at the line and the triangle together, let's try and look at just the triangle first and then the line second. And then if we have to look at them together, we will, okay? So what I'm going to do is just look at this triangle. I'm going to forget the line even exists. Just look at that triangle, right? I've got to think about how does that triangle turn into this triangle? What's going on between the two of them, okay? Before I go any further, try not, definitely do not do it the other way around. So we're not saying how does that turn into that. Okay, it must be from left to right. That's what the arrow tells us, yeah? Okay, so we're talking about how this triangle turns into this triangle. And what I can see, and what I'm guessing that you can see as well, is that this triangle rotates 90 degrees anti-clockwise, okay? So it's pointing this way, if you like, and then it's pointing downwards. So there's a rotation going on. It's rotating 90 degrees clockwise, anti-clockwise, okay? So that means we need to do the same in this, we'll call this our question image, yeah? We're going to do the same right here. We've got a line and we've got a shape. And it's obvious that the shape is the thing that needs to rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise because it's got a line, and we ignored the line in the first instance, so we're only looking at the shape for now. So this shape here, what is it? It's a pentagon, yeah? This pentagon needs to rotate in the same direction, anti-clockwise, 90 degrees. So what you need to do here is kind of like picture the shape in your head. Imagine it in your head and think about what it would look like if we were to pick it up and rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. And I can tell you, and you can probably see this for yourself, that it would look, you have to forgive the drawing, something like, got some awful drawing, I do apologise, but you get what I mean, yeah? It should be pointing to the right, okay? So immediately I can get rid of option A because that's pointing, that's gone a bit too far. That's pointing northeast, isn't it? It's not pointing east, it's not pointing to the right. B is pointing to the right, so I'm going to keep that one. C is pointing upwards, so I'm not going to keep that one. D is pointing to the left, so I'm not going to keep that one. And E is doing the right thing, it's pointing to the right. So I'm left with two options. And I know I say this a lot, but Himank, please don't draw on the screen. Now I know that's right. This is why I can't draw the screen, guys, because now that I've got rid of all the working out, please don't draw on the screen, okay? Let me rub this out. Okay. So I know I say this a lot, but now if we was in an exam and we have two options, if we had to guess, at the very least we've got a choice of two. We've got a 50% chance of guessing it correct. So that's not a terrible thing, but I think we can go all the way here and get the definite answer, right? Because we haven't even started to look at the line yet. So let's now look at the line. Now you'll notice that this line is doing the same thing as a triangle did, okay? It's rotating, so rather than being upright like this, it's going to rotate 90 degrees, isn't it? It's going to look like this. Now that's not going to help us, because if this line rotates, it's going to look exactly the same as that one and exactly the same as that one. But that's okay. We've looked at it. We know it's not going to help. We'll look for something else. Okay? So what else can we look for? How about, this is where we kind of look at them together. The triangle is pointing to the middle of the line, and then when it transforms, it's still pointing to the middle of the line. So in image 1 and in image 2, in both cases, the triangle maintains that relationship with the line. It's pointing to the middle. That means when we look at our question image, the pentagon should still be pointing at the exact same place relative to the line. Dead center. So we know it can't be E, and we know that the answer must be B. So that's the answer to the first one. Okay, so before I show you the second question, let's really quickly think about the things we spoke about, which is we look at them independently. We kind of isolate one part of the image at a time. Okay, and then if we have to look at them kind of collectively, if we have to look at them together, we do. Okay, but at first, try to look at one thing at a time. All right, so here's your first question to do independently. Can you tell me what the answer is? Let me know in the chat box. Let's see if we can do it in about 45 seconds. Perfect Hayden. Perfect Ragnar. Perfect Ava. Perfect Annabelle. Perfect Arlo. Perfect Jordan. Perfect Thomas. Perfect George. Perfect Hannah. This is very good, guys. Perfect Gosima. And do not worry if you go wrong, okay? You're allowed to go wrong as long as we focus on the answer, because often when we see the answer, it will help us with the next one. Yeah? Perfect Izzy. Okay. 10 seconds and then we're going to go through it. And like I said, if you did go wrong, do not worry. Okay, what I would like Himank to do is, Himank, can you tell me just one thing that you noticed between this image, image 1, and this image, image 2? Just one thing.
The first thing is that there's one thing that's not colored in, and the second one's colored in. The
Awesome.
inside of the shape.
Perfect, yeah, right on for being specific. Very good. So the inside of the shape is left unshaded, but then when it transforms, the inside of the shape is shaded. Don't worry about anything else that's happening right now. Let's focus just on that. We need to make sure that we apply the same logic to our question image. So we'll say the same thing again. We'll say it aloud, right? So we can hear it, right? The inside of the shape is unshaded. And when it transforms, the inside of the shape should be shaded rather than unshaded. So we're looking for a shaded inside shape, right? So we can get rid of C, and we can't get rid of anything else based on that reasoning. That's good. We've already got rid of one option, so we've only got 4 left to consider. So let's go to Scarlett. Scarlett, can you tell me something else you've noticed besides what Himank just said?
On the first one, there's no extra shape, and on the second one, there's an extra shape on the side.
Awesome. And Scarlett, that's really good, but can you tell me, what is that extra shape? Where did that extra shape come from? What is it?
Inside.
Yeah, it's the inside shape, isn't it? The inside shape has kind of like copied itself. Very good, Scarlett. So the inside shape copies itself and goes to the outside. Right? So this inside shape needs to copy itself and go on the outside. But you'll notice that A, B, D, and E all have a copy shape on the outside. So there must be something else about that outside shape, right? So Annabelle, can you tell me a little bit more about this outside shape?
That the outside shape is on the right.
On the right, very good, very, very good. The copied shape has gone to the right hand side. So based on that, I can get rid of, I can't get rid of A, I can get rid of B because it's on the left. I can't get rid of D, I can't get rid of E. I think there's something else about the outside shape. Ava, do you see anything else about the outside shape?
It's facing towards the bigger shape.
Awesome, very, very good, well noticed. So the inside shape, the outside shape, sorry, it's been copied and is now rotated in that direction. So it's almost like pointing to it. Okay, so it's another way of looking at it is it's rotated in this direction 90 degrees. Okay, so we need to do the same with this inside shape. We need to rotate it 90 degrees, and then we need to, well, that's all we need to do for now. Okay, so it could be A, it could be E, but it can't be D because that's rotated in the opposite direction. Like Ava said, it's not pointing to it. It's rotated in the wrong direction. So now we're left with A and E. So we've got two options left. Let's go to who's next on the list. It is Alexa. Alexa, how are we going to decide between the remaining two options? I don't know if your mic's working, Alexa. But I can see you've unmuted, but I can't hear you. I'll go to someone else, Alexa. But if you do get that figured out, then just message me. Hayden, how can we decide between A and E?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I finally got working. Uh, the middle inside the circle on one of the shapes is down, one of them is up. We gotta figure out what one's up and what one's supposed to be down.
Okay, so the inside shape. Do these, in terms of position, do they stay exactly the same or do they move?
They stay the same.
Perfect. So that means that this inside shape must stay in the same position because that's what happened with the first two images. So what one can I get rid of, Hayden?
E.
Amazing. I can get rid of E. I'm left with my answer, which is A. Well done, guys. And if you didn't get it correct, please do not worry. We're going to practice, okay? Let's move on to the next question. So once again, guys, see if you can answer within about 45 seconds. Give that one a go. Oh, thanks, Alexa. I'll ask you in a second. Perfect, Hayden. Perfect, Gersima. Perfect, Izzy. Well done, Ragnar. Well done, Ava. Well done, Himank. Guys, send your answers just once, yeah? Don't keep sending it continuously because it makes things a bit confusing. Perfect, Thomas. Perfect, Arlo. Perfect, Jordan. Perfect, Hannah. Perfect, Annabelle. You guys don't even need 45 seconds. That's brilliant. Perfect, Scarlett. Okay. Okay, let's go through it. Okay, let's go back to Alexa because I think she's figured out her microphone. All right, Alexa, can you tell me something that you noticed between image 1 and image 2?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The difference between image 1 and image 2 is that on image 2 it only has two triangles facing down, and on image 1 it has three triangles facing down.
Cool. All right, so we could say that if we looked at the, like Alexa said, if we looked at the inside shapes, it loses one. We lose a shape on the inside. Okay, so we need to apply that to our question image. It needs to lose a shape on the inside. It currently has three. If it loses one, it would have two. So based on that, we can get rid of option E. Okay, but Alexa said something else, didn't she? She said something else that was quite interesting, and that was that the triangles maintained the way they were facing. They were facing down here, and they were facing down there. Okay, so the position, or sorry, the angle of the inside shape does not change. So let's apply that to this one as well. We need to have this shape pointing in the same direction. Okay, so it could be A, it could be B, it could be C, but it can't be D because D has those. It does have the right shapes, but they're pointing in the opposite direction. They've been rotated, and they shouldn't be rotated. So we can get rid of D. All right, 3 options left. Let's go to Gosima. Gosima, can you tell me something else that you've noticed?
So, but I noticed that the triangles inside it, they're getting less every time, and the one triangle at the top, which went, that got replaced by a black triangle at the top.
So, yeah, well done, Gosima. So, we had one triangle at the top in our first image, and then we had a second triangle, so 2 in the second image. So it's kind of like we've duplicated that triangle and we've rotated it a bit. So first, let's just look to copy this shape. We need 2 of them because it must have the same logic. Okay, we must use the same rules. So we need to have 2 of this shape at the top. So we can get rid of A because that only is 1. And now we're left with B and C. And this is what I would do, guys. In an exam, right, if you've got 2 options left, especially in a question like this, what we need to do is find out what's different about those 2, because then we know what it is we need to look for. All right? So let's go to Arlo. Arlo, can you take us any further? I don't know if your mic's switched on, Arlo. I can't hear you. If you figure that out, just message me, okay? Let's go to Ragnar.
Uh, the the answer is B because like the arrow is added it to 1 and uh the 3 arrows is gonna go down by 1, so it's gonna go it's gonna be minus by 1, so it's B.
But they've both got minus by 1. They've both got 2 left. So how can we be a bit more specific?
They go down.
What do you mean they go down? I think I know what you mean. Can you explain that a little bit more?
They like move like down.
Where do we lose a shape from? So from image 1 to image 2, what shape is lost?
We lose the first
Perfect.
arrow.
Good, the top shape. We lose the top shape. We need to do the same thing again. So well done, Ragnar. We need to do the same thing again. We need to lose the top shape, okay? The first one. So if we go to B and C, we know, like Ragnar said, the answer must be B, because C still has the top shape. We need to lose the top shape. So the answer is B. All right, well done, guys. Let's move on. Okay, by the way, guys, impressive speed. Really, really good speed today. Let's see if we can keep that going, all right? So give that one a go. Well done, Scarlett. Well done, Gosima. Well done, Ava. Well done, Annabelle. Well done, Ragnar. If you've answered and I've not said your name, take another look. That's it, Hemant. Very good. Perfect, Hannah. Perfect, Alexa. Okay, 10 seconds. All right, let's go through it. That was quite a tricky one. I think of all of the questions so far, that one probably I received the most wrong answers. It's okay. Okay, do not worry if you were wrong. You know, you have to be wrong sometimes to learn. So we're going to go through it. Let me see who's next. That's it, Izzy. Perfect. Let me see who's next on the list. So, George, can you tell me one thing you noticed between the first image and the second image?
For the first image, I noticed that it kind of like flips over, then it flips to the right.
Hold on. Let's look at one thing at a time. So tell me, what is it you're looking at? What's flipping over?
It flips over.
What flips over?
The circle and the thing attached to it.
Okay, so I like what you said, George, but let's focus on, so you know you said the circle and the things attached to it. That's good that you can do that, but let's focus on just one of those things. So shall we look at the circle or shall we look at the things underneath?
I could say that the little circle inside of the big circle turns black.
All right, that's it. Good, good. That's just one thing. So remember, guys, when we're going through this, let's look at one thing at a time. So well done, George. The white circle turns black. Okay, so from image 1 to image 2, the white circle turns black. So if we look at our question image, it's currently a white circle. We need to apply the same logic. It must go from white to black. So I know that my answer should have a black circle inside. So it could be A, it could be B, it can't be C because that's a white circle, it can't be D because that's a white circle, but it could be E because that's a black circle, all right? So already we've eliminated 2 options. Let's keep going. Okay, let's go back through the list. Scarlett, can you tell me something else you've noticed?
So what else I noticed is that, like George said, it flips, but as it flips, 2 of the small rectangles are black, and so is the dot inside. So
just one thing, Scarlett. So tell me one thing that changes.
the black is added.
The black rectangles?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about the number? How many black rectangles did we have, and then how many do we have now?
2. So we can rule out A.
Awesome. So we went from 0 to 2. Awesome. Okay. So like Scarlett said, we've got these 4 rectangles, right? And they are all white. And then when it transformed, 2 of the 4 rectangles turned black. Now, if we look at our question image, we must apply the same logic. So we've got these 4 rectangles. I know that 2 of them are not 4 rectangles, but it's still split into 4 parts. 2 of them needs to turn black because then we're following the same logic, right? So like Scarlett said, it can't be A because there's 3. You might have missed that because a couple of you said A as your answer, but if you look carefully, we've got 1, 2, 3 parts shaded black, and we only want 2 parts shaded black. So we can get rid of A, otherwise that would have been correct. But we can't get rid of B because that's got 2 black parts, and we can't get rid of E for the same reason. Now, like I said last time, when we're down to 2 options, the best thing to do is to suddenly turn our attention to the options themselves and consider how they are different. So can someone tell me, Annabelle, how are option B and E different, and what's the correct answer?
B and E are different because if you wrote, as you see on the first images, it's rotated 90 degrees to the right.
What are you looking at? Sorry, Annabelle.
The object.
Which one? Well, what part of it?
The whole thing.
Let's look at one bit. So if you look at these 2, what bit is different about those 2?
That the small circle is at the top.
Good. Good. All right. So we've got a circle at the top here and a circle at the bottom here. So Annabelle, can you tell me where should the circle be and how do you know?
The circle should be at the bottom because, as you can see, at first it was at the bottom and then it goes to the top. So if the small circle is at the top, it's going to go to the bottom. So the answer is E.
Amazing, fantastic, well done, guys. So, yeah, we've got this shape attached to the circle. I don't know if anyone wants this Pokemon, but it reminds me of a Pokeball. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's quite handy when you're talking through non-verbal reasoning questions. If you say it looks like something that you're familiar with, it kind of helps you articulate the explanation. So we've got this shape attached to the Pokeball, and then it goes from the bottom to the top. So when we look at our question image, because our attached image is already at the top, we need to use the same logic. Well, if it's gone from bottom to top, it needs to go from top to bottom. Okay. Therefore, the answer cannot be B, and the answer must be E. Now, the good thing about the answers that I received from you is most of you said E, which is correct, and those that didn't say E said A. That's not a terrible thing, because if you look at A and E, they are identical except for one tiny bit, which means you're doing everything right. You just got to be very, very careful. That's all. All right, well done, guys. What about this one? Perfect Izzy. Perfect Himank. Oh, Himank likes Pokemon. Awesome. Perfect Gersima. Perfect Ava. Perfect Jordan. Perfect Hannah. Perfect Scarlet. Yes. Perfect. Guys, only answer once, please. I can see your answers. You don't have to keep sending them. Perfect Ragnar. Perfect Annabelle. Perfect Thomas. Perfect George. Perfect Arlo. Guys, you're amazing. Very good. Now, a couple of you sent 2 or 3 answers. This is okay. Of course it's okay to change your mind. But what I would recommend is, rather than having to change your mind, just make sure you look carefully before you send your answer. Let's forget this question for a second, okay? Every now and then we need to talk about the exam itself. Let me ask Ava a question. Ava, why do you think that when it comes to the exam, we should not rely on changing our minds, and why is it more important to check our answer rather than relying on changing our minds?
Because if we keep changing our mind, it will take too long to keep crossing out or rubbing out the answers.
Very, 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 very good and very important. Guys, just a quick reminder that currently, I say currently because things change all the time, but currently in the exam, right, you get these boxes. I know that I've taken a bit of a turn here, but this is quite important. So in the exam, you get these boxes to fill in. So you get option A, for example, option B, option C, option D. If you think the answer is option B, you put a line through it, and like Ava said, then you change your mind. You need to rub all that out and then change your mind to C, and then rub all that out and then change your mind to D. That's a problem for 2 reasons. The first reason it's a problem is it's time consuming, but the second reason is if you put a mark through option B, because the answer sheet is machine read, if you leave any markings inside option B, if any of your pencil markings is left in option B, the machine that marks your exam might think that you picked option B still, okay, and then therefore you'd get the answer wrong. So let's get into the habit now of, rather than changing our minds a lot, trying to spend a few more seconds on getting the correct answer, okay? But it's okay for now to change your mind, just be mindful, that's all. Okay, let's go through it. So we last spoke to Ava, let's go to Alexa. Alexa, can you tell me something that's different between image 1 and image 2?
Something that's different is with image 1, the circles are outside and practically on top of the triangle. In image 2, the circles are inside of the triangle.
Perfect, yeah, well explained. Very, very good. So, as Alexa said, we've got the circles, I'll call them eyeballs, yeah, they look a bit like eyeballs. We've got the eyeballs on top of the triangle, and on image 2, the eyeballs are inside the triangle. So with that in mind, let's go to Gersima. What would I need to do based on just that, Gersima, what Alexa just said, what could the options be? What could the potential answers be, sorry?
the potential answers could be B, D, and C.
And
And
E, yeah? B, D, C, and E, because they're all inside a trapezium, and A, they're inside a triangle. Fantastic. Well done, Gersima. But you'll probably notice something about the outside trapezium. We're going to deal with that in a second. We'll do it one thing at a time, yeah? So, George B, can you tell me something else about image 1 and image 2?
So they both have triangles and three little eyeballs looking things.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely relevant. Yeah, that's very relevant. Let me show you why. So George said that they both have exactly the same object. We've got a triangle and three eyeballs. Here we've got a triangle and three eyeballs. So if we go to our question image, we need to make sure that we have the same shapes. So we've got, I don't know what you think this looks like. What should we call it? Maybe a light switch or something. We could say we've got three light switches and a trapezium. So our answer must have three light switches and a trapezium. So it can't be C because we don't have any light switches, we have eyeballs. And it can't be C because we have a mixture of eyeballs and light switches. And that brings us on to a choice of 2. So again, when you've got 2 options left, you should compare those 2 options. What's different about those 2? So let's go to Izzy. Izzy, can you help us finish this off?
One trapezium is facing downwards and one trapezium is facing upwards.
Amazing. So what do you think we need?
A trapezium facing downwards.
So is that B or D?
B.
Perfect. Very, very good. Amazing. Yeah, so the shape on the outside, the one that's underneath and then turns to the outside, rotates, doesn't it? So we've got a trapezium with its short side facing up. So we need the short side to be facing downwards. So it can't be D. That's exactly the same rotation. The answer is B. Well done, guys, if you said that. And if you didn't, do not worry. It's all about practice, okay? All right. What about this one? Give this one a go, guys. Well done, Annabelle. Well done. Well done, Izzy. Well done, Scarlett. Well done, Hannah. Perfect, Ava. Never ever apologise, guys. Don't ever apologise. I love how polite you are. It's really nice that I'm working with such a polite bunch of children, but never apologise for being wrong. Perfect, Thomas. All right, shall we go through it? Okay, Scarlett, can you pick one thing from image 1 and tell me how does it change when it gets to image 2?
So I think the most obvious thing that changes is the background color. The background color and the shape color switches, so it goes the opposite way. So if in the first image, the background is black and the object is white, and then in the second image, the background is white and the object is black.
Amazing. Yeah, very, very good. So I don't know what you want to call this image in the middle, maybe like a splodge, like a paint splodge when you spill paint on the floor. I like what Scarlett said for the other part. We call it the background image. So the background image is black, the splodge is white, and then suddenly the background image becomes white and the splodge becomes black. So she is 100% correct. They change colours, they switch colours. We must apply the same reasoning to our question image. So the background and the shape inside must switch colours. Therefore, rather than a stripy background and a white star, we're looking for a white background and a stripy star. So that means we can get rid of option E. But we can't get rid of any others just yet. So let's find something else. Let's go to Annabelle. Annabelle, can you find something else for us?
That in the first image, the splat has like 5 like edges.
Yeah, call it whatever you like. As long as you know what you mean, you can call it whatever you like.
5 edges, and if you see on the image 2, it has 4, so that it means that it's got like 1 less edge. So we can get rid of option A and option C.
Yeah,
because A has 5 and C has 6.
Perfect. Yeah, good explanation. So, yeah, again, guys, when it comes to exam time and you're hearing all these words in your head and you're trying to work it out, call it whatever you like. Even if it's not correct, just call it whatever you want, because the only person that needs to know is you. So whatever it looks like to you, call it that. What did it look like to me? It looks like a man, like a man running away from something. So maybe I'll call it a leg. So he loses a leg. He's got 5 like arms, legs, and limbs, whatever. He loses a leg. Okay, so like Annabelle said, we had 5 parts that's turned into 4 parts. So our inside shape here needs to lose a part. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Our answer needs to have 4 parts. So like Annabelle said, we can get rid of option A because that has the same number of parts. We can get rid of option C because it has more parts. And we're left with 2 options, B and D. Okay, let's go to Ava. Ava, can you finish this off?
You can see that the inside shape of the splodge rotates clockwise.
Awesome.
So in D it stays the same. So it must be B.
Amazing. Yeah, very, very good. If we look at the inside shape, I don't know if anyone missed that, but look on the inside. The cross rotates. If you imagine like turning a tap, or you know what a steering wheel looks like in a car, maybe turning that slightly clockwise, it would look like that. Okay, so we need to do the same to this thing. You can call it what you want, a bow tie, an hourglass, doesn't really matter. If you rotate it, it's going to look like B and it's not going to look like D. Let's just get rid of D. All right. Okay,